The Connecticut Department of Veteran Affairs, I'd like to welcome you to the Social Security Administration benefits presentation that is going to be presented by Robert Rodriguez. I want to go over a few ground rules for the presentation before we get started. First, the session will be recorded. We will be muting all microphones at the start of the presentation. If you'd like to ask a question, please type them in the chat area, and then I will review and pass them along to the presenter, or the presenter can answer them himself. If you're unable to utilize the chat, please use the raise your hand feature and you will be called on. Both are located on the bar when you scroll over the meeting screen. Please do not share any personal identifiable information as these sessions are non-confidential. We ask that you please keep your camera off as this helps keep bandwidth down and improves connectivity. We hope you enjoy your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. Good morning, everybody. This is Rob Rodriguez. I work as a public affairs specialist for the Social Security Administration. I work out of the New Britain office. This is really sad time to have this COVID going on because it's a beautiful day. Otherwise, we would have been on the campus at Rocky Hill, and it would have been, very awesome to have the interactions like it has happened in years past. What I want to do today is I want to give everybody a good overview of the programs that we offer. This has an impact on everybody across the board. If you've worked and paid into Social Security in one fashion or other, 97% of people who are who have been working and paying into the system will eventually come knocking at our door. We have a lot of programs. We're talking about retirement benefits, disability benefits, survivor benefits, benefits for spouses, benefits for ex-spouses, benefits for children. And again, we do have a big connection anytime somebody works and pays into Social Security, and we always have a good connection with the VA. When we have been on the campus, we have taken a lot of claims from individuals. Some people may not have total awareness of what they do have coming to them on the pike. And the system is solvent. It's going to be there. It's not going anywhere. And one of the key pieces of advice that I give all the time, as I tell individuals, don't listen to Cousin Eddie or Uncle Joe. Your best bet is to get information straight from us at our website at socialsecurity.gov. So what I want to do is over the next 6 hours, I want to just kind of give you guys a good overview again, and just to provide you with some key pieces of information. I'll be glad to take your questions. I think, again, it's going to have a good connection with yourself. If you have family members who have questions, or if you're working with, clients or anyone else, it's always good to tell them to get information straight from us, from the horse's mouth. I think a lot of times people will listen to family members or somebody else, and then they don't connect with us, and you could potentially have eligibility loss of benefits because you didn't follow through and you listened to someone else. I'm going to see if I can share my screen in particular, and I'm wondering if you can bear with me just a quick second here. Are you able to see this screen that says Social Security? Don, does it show by any chance?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. All right. So again, this is our website at socialsecurity.gov, and I'm only hitting the tip of the iceberg. It basically has everything from A to Z. One of the key pieces of information I want to give everyone right now, right off the bat, is that our Social Security field offices here in Connecticut and also across the country are basically closed to any kind of walk-in service. But we still are doing a lot of services over the phone, and also we're conducting a lot of online services. Our central office in Baltimore has made our website much more friendlier so that a person can apply for retirement benefits online in about 15 minutes. You can apply for disability benefits. You can apply for spousal benefits and also for Medicare. Again, this is really key because we kind of recognize what's going on. More and more people are knocking at our door and getting information on the website and being able to apply without having that person-to-person contact. Especially right now, is going to be very key for everyone. I'm just going to switch a slide over here. I want to tell you that we have been around for a long time. Again, I'm going to talk a little bit about retirement. I'm going to talk about survivor benefits. I'll talk about disability benefits. And I'm also going to talk about the Medicare program and what's called the SSI program. I'll touch a little bit on the Medicare prescription drug coverage program as well. And I'm going to skip one or two slides. And bear with me. Okay. So the first topic I want to cover, again, maybe some of the individuals who did serve, during Vietnam, or some of the older vets who may be getting close to retirement age, or you're right around the corner. One of the key things is that you do have eligibility for retirement if you've worked and paid into the system. A lot of people will ask us questions like, what's the best time for me to retire? We work with whatever the individual wants. And so there's a lot of things for a person to consider. One of them is, what's your dollar amount going to be? What's your health? What's your family longevity? What's your financial situation? Are you going to go back to work? Medicare is going to come into play. So these are some of the factors that we kind of take a look at. We ask you to take a look at before you come knocking at our door, so that you can educate yourself on you have available to you. Maybe some of us have family members who are still working. They're unsure about retirement. And now with COVID going on and people losing their jobs, people are knocking at our door, and people are taking their benefits early. And the next slide over here. So just to cover retirement topics for a quick second. The earliest that you can get a retirement benefit, Social Security, be at age 60. And recognize that if you take your money at age 62, you end up getting a reduced amount. You end up getting a nice buzz cut. Okay, and the general principle is that the longer you wait, then the higher your payment amount would get. And this slide right here, this is an example. Okay, if everybody on the line right now was age, let's say your full retirement age is age 66, and your benefit's supposed to be $1,000. If you look at the bar that says 66, and if you were to come knocking at a door at your full retirement age, you'd end up getting $1,000. But take note, you decide to take your money at age 60, you'd end up getting a reduced amount. Okay, and then if you do tap in at age 62, or let's say you tap in at 63 or 64, that's going to be your payment amount moving forward. Okay, when you do hit your full retirement age, we're not going to give you a happy birthday or a full retirement age bump up. So this is another thing for individuals to take into consideration. Now, if you decide that at your retirement age you don't want to take the benefits just yet, then what happens is on the backside, you now begin to accumulate what are called delayed retirement credits. These are additional benefits that get tacked onto your record, and it's about 8% per year. You can get these delayed retirement credits all the way up until age 70. At age 70, the delayed retirement credits, they cut off. So potentially, depending upon how you play your cards, you can get an additional 32% tacked onto your record. And if you think about it, that's pretty good compared to what other places and banks, whatever, may offer you. But again, everything depends on what your decision is as to when you want to come knocking at our door, when do you want to take your benefit. If you're looking to retire, again, say like 2 or whatever it may be, it's always best to contact us about 3 to 4 months out before you're going to hit your birthday, and let us know what your plans are. And then what we could do is we can work with you and say, okay, these are your options. We would have to know information from you, such as your name, your social security number, your date of birth, what are your work plans, and then we can kind of give you a breakdown of what your benefits would be. One of the things that we do have available to individuals, and this is kind of like a little insight type of thing. When you get your social security statement, if you have gotten it in the past, you're going to notice that the statement basically shows how much you would get for retirement purposes at age 62, at your full retirement age, and then at age 70. Some people want to know how much you're going to get at 63 or 64, and or even at 65. So one of the options that you have, you can contact one of the local field offices and ask if they can give you a printout of how much you would get from 62 all the way up through age 70. And so you would get month by month breakdown from age 62 in the next 12 months, 63 in the next 12 months, all the way up into age 70. And this would be good for you for planning purposes. If you're working with a financial planner, they're going to want to ask you, how much are you going to get at 63 or 64, whatever age that you're looking to retire. So this would be something you could probably just want to take advantage of. I'm going to switch the slide right now. And I'm hoping everybody kind of understands this right here. We do get people who apply for retirement and then they change their mind. And that's okay with us. We normally give you a 12-month period in which you can, withdraw your claim and then you can come in at a later. But any money that we pay during a 12-month period, you would have to kind of take it back to us. So this is kind of just one of the heads up. Okay, let me switch slides real quick. Most people will fall into this middle bar where you end up getting back about 41% or so. That being the case, then whomever is providing you a pension from some other place will probably make up some of this, but you may always have a gap. And that's why it's up to contact the financial planner and say, hey, this is how much I'm getting from Social Security, this is how much the company is giving me, this is how much the VA is giving me. Because once we start to pay you, we're going to pay you for lifetime. And it's going to be based on the years that you worked and how much you paid into Social Security. Okay. What the full retirement age looks like right now. So you take a look at what your year of birth is, and this would determine your retirement age. There's nothing that obligates you to follow this. Some people, let's say, for example, you're born in 56. So your full retirement age now would be 66 and 4 months. But if you decide you want to take it at 62 or 63, that's fine. Everything depends on whatever your plans are, work whatever it is that you want. And you let us know what you want to do. You lay your cards on the table, and then we can look at it and say, okay, you could do A, you could do B, or you can't do C. Okay. And right now, this is status quo. This is not changing at any point in time. I think the politicians recognize that this is political hot potatoes. They always talk about form changes, but that being the case, it usually always goes on the back burner. So there's no big change on the horizon. Next slide. We take a look at the highest 5 years that you've worked. Okay, it's not your last 5, your high 3. It's up going to be the highest 35 years cumulatively. We recognize that sometimes we'll have gaps. They may be, losing work. And if you did less than 35 years of work, then what we end up doing, we would have to throw some zeros in that calculation. If you got 28 or 30 years, we have to throw some zeros in the calculation. But if you happen to work part-time, and then you pay into Social Security. Whatever you once you file your tax return and IRS sends us back that information, we're going to recalculate your benefit. So it's always going to happen one way or another. We do have a retirement estimator that you can take advantage of. And again, it will be right on the website. It's going to be at the very bottom. Use socialsecurity.gov/estimator. But but the bigger uh, advantage for you would be to take advantage of what I told you. Call the field office and ask them to give you an entire printout. So to qualify for retirement benefits, you have to work. You have to earn these credits. Whomever you work for, make sure that look at your pay stub to make sure that Social Security tax is being withheld. We have people who will work under the table, quote unquote, and they're not paying enough into the system, and they're shortchanging themselves in the long run. Because some people think, well, I'm not going to become old or whatever, but believe me, in 30 plus years that I've been with the agency, I've seen people that retirement kind of snuck up on them, and they weren't really prepared. And this is why we do have these retirement plans on our website. And educate yourself about it. You're a big step ahead of the game. So you have to have a little work under your belt to be 62 or older. The maximum number of credits you can get per year is always going to be 4. And this year, in 2020, the credits cost 20. So if you've already worked and you made like 6,080 hours this year, then you have those 4 credits stacked onto your record. Again, this is just a little recap. At 62, you get a lower payment amount. The closer you get to your full retirement age, your benefit gets higher and higher. So you decide to tap into it. And then if you take it at your full retirement age, you get 100%. And if you opt not to take it after your full retirement age, you get those delayed retirement. Once we do ask you questions, we do are always digging a little bit further down to find out if there's anybody else in your universe who can get some benefits. And it says here for children and for spouses. When you apply for retirement, you get disability benefits from us, or somebody gets survivor benefits. This is our pecking order. We look at kids and we look at children. And we get fathers all the time. Person maybe 62, 63, and they say, hey, I have a second marriage, I've got a 14 and a 16-year-old. And if that's the case, and these kids meet the bullet point, they're not married and under, they can get a benefit. It doesn't take any money away from the parent. And again, the dollar amounts that are paid to the individual, to the kid, is based upon the number of years that the person worked and how much he or she paid in Social Security. We also have another category, somebody who, for older adult kids who may be not married, but they had a disability that started before age 22. These kids can have eligibility as well. They could be in their 30s or maybe even in their 40s. And again, not everybody outside knows all the nuances and the rules that we have, and this is why I tell a person always to contact us, and we can help you out. For retirement purposes, we ask questions about your spouse. I mean, if your wife or your other half, significant other, is 62 or older, they're going to come up on our radar. We'll start to ask questions, and then let you know, or let them know, this is how much they can get on their record, and whether or not they can get some benefits on a spouse's record as well. And if you could bear with me another minute. Now, I don't want to let you know about ex-spouses. If you were married in the past and you were married to your ex for at least a 10-year period, then your ex-spouse could potentially get some benefits on your record, but it doesn't take anything away from you. This is something I kind of let people know about all the time, because I've seen people who've been married 11 years, they've been married 27 years, and get divorced. So if you had 10 years of marriage, you could potentially have some eligibility. And we ask you questions about your ex. And there's nothing that you can't say, well, I don't want X to have any benefit. No, it, again, it doesn't take anything away from you. Okay. I do recall a case of a woman who was, she was in the process of getting a divorce. She was at 9 years and 6 months when she found out about the 10-year rule. So, she called the judge and she said, hey, can you pump the brakes on this for another 6 months? And that's what the judge did. And again, this is kind of financial planning on her part, savvy on her part. And unfortunately, I have seen people who have married, 9 years and 10, and there's no eligibility there. Now, I wanted to kind of one of the bigger pieces of my presentation is to talk about this My Social Security. This is the same thing as what was called your Social Security statement that you have been receiving some years back. This right here allows you to get your Social Security information basically in about 10 or 15 minutes. And if you visit the website, specifically to the site that says My Social Security, there's a little link in there that says sign in or create an account. What you have to do is you can go in there and say create an account and ask you some key pieces of information. And when you do specifically go to this link, the URL ribbon that's up at the top of your computer that says where you're at, that's going to turn green, which means that you're in a secure Social Security site. This piece right here will allow you to, get your Social Security statement, basically, and it's going to provide you your name, birth, the years that you worked, how much you paid in, how much you would get for retirement benefits, how much you would get for disability benefits. If you were to pass away, how much the survivors would get. We're working with Experian. They're going to be asking you some questions because we want to make sure we're talking to one and the same person. And it's kind of tricky. But if you can ask the questions and you answer the questions correctly, then you basically create a username and you create a password and you're in. As a heads up, not everybody is able to pass the question. If you're in specific select zip codes, you can get diverted to another area that's working with us, so they can verify who you are in a different manner. I think it's called ID.me. And in this way, you can get you can get a bypass to be able to get in a different manner. And again, this way you can access your record. If you're 60 older and you haven't had, uh, uh, if you're not getting any benefits, you end up getting this. You can end up getting your regular statement sent to you 3 months before your birthday. But this right here allows you to get it like 15 to 20 minutes. So by the end of the day, or by the end of the session, by the end of the week, you can go into our website and you can try this and you can get that. As a quick caveat, if you uh, if you fail the question, we're going to kick you off for 24 hours. Then we'll give you another opportunity at it. Then we have ways of giving you what's called an activation code, so that you can go back and you can finish setting up the account. Okay? So this is one of the key pieces of information that you can provide, for yourself, working with the other vets. To let them know if you want to take a look. This will also allow you to get a benefit verification letter. You can do it right on their phone. Almost everybody nowadays has this up. Again, just visit the website, sign in, create an account, give us some of your personal information, then choose a username and a password. You can get, now in the state of Connecticut, you can request a duplicate Social Security card through this function right here, through My Social Security. That didn't happen before. This started back in December. Sometimes the person needs to have their Social Security card. It's been misplaced. We're working with the DMV, and now a person can request a card, via this mechanism right here. And again, this lets you look at your record and if you don't get benefits. If you do get benefits, the And you can request a card. You can check your benefit payment information. You can change your address and your phone number. Start or change your direct deposit. You could even request a replacement Medicare card. Skip a couple of these. You can still work in benefits every year. There's a different dollar amount you're allowed to make, and you will find this on the website. But just quickly, you're getting benefits 62 or 63. You decide you want to go back to work. This year, you can make up to $1,240. This is gross wages. We don't care about any outside passive income that you may have. The year you do hit your retirement age, you're allowed to make a greater amount of money. It's 48.6. And the month you hit your retirement age, you can make as much money as you want, and you can still collect Social Security check. Okay? I'm going to switch gears to talk about survivor benefits again because this is something we do have situations where some vets unfortunately do take their life, suicide, and then there could be eligibility for children or for spouses. But if a mother or husband, a mother, father, husband, wife passes away, children are the first ones that come up on the record. They can get benefits up to age 18. Somebody not married and disabled before age 22. Widows or widowers, you can get a reduced benefit as early as age 60 on a deceased husband or wife's record, but we're also going to take a look at whether or not you're working and what your situation is. You have to let us know. We can tell you what your options are. Okay. If again, in some cases, you may have remarriage after age 60. You can still collect on deceased spouse's record. If you get married, like 4 years later or 5 years later to someone else, you can still collect on husband. So just a quick recap between spousal benefits, somebody's living or someone passes away. On the left-hand side, you can potentially get spousal benefits as early as age 62 up to full retirement age, and it's about 50% of the other workers' benefit amount. But when somebody passes away, now you can still collect benefits as early as age 60, but the percentage bumps up to the 70s. You take a look. And again, if you know someone who's in a situation where they're eligible for retirement, but at the same time he or she is a widow or widower, now you're looking at two playing fields. And then we can give you a breakdown and let you know, okay, this is how much you could possibly get in retirement. And at the same time, this is how much you could possibly get as a widow or widow. Now, I want to talk about disability because this is, again, one of the bigger things that's coming into play. And I wanted to just backtrack for 1 second with the survivor benefit. With COVID going on, uh, the numbers have been jumping across the country with people who are passing away, and that means that more people are knocking at our door to get benefits as survivors. I mean, it's just a reality. I was talking with my public affairs team yesterday, and one of them who works in the Massachusetts area was talking about a gentleman who was in Long Island, 49 years old, married, teenage kids. He he was healthy. The guy was very healthy, a runner, a skier, always active. And he was impacted by COVID. He was, pretty ill for some time. And, got to the point where he told his wife, I don't want to live like this. He was, how would I put it? He was like intubated and everything else. And the family decided, with him that he wanted to be let go. So now, unfortunately, his kids and his wife, are eligible to get benefits, on the person's record because she worked. Now, with disability benefits for us, we take a look at a person's medical condition. It could be a combination of impairments. It could be something physical. It could be something emotional. It could be a combination of the two. But it has to be something that keeps the person out of work for at least a year or more, or that may result his or her death, we take a look at the person's age, education, or work experience, what kind of things they can and cannot do. I want to let the VA people know, the vets and the VA people know, even though the VA will give up something like maybe 10% rating or 30 or 80% rating, whatever it may be, that doesn't automatically cross over to our records, but it is taken into consideration. We're a separate program from anything that the state does or the VA does, and we have our own rules and guidelines how a person can take and qualify. And again, we take a look at a person's age, their education, their work history, what kind of things they can and cannot. And it's difficult to get. If a person is, say, 58 years old, uh, then they end up getting approved. They end up getting 100% of their benefit from us because it would be the same as they're retiring at their retirement age. So you will get people who will be 52 or 51 or 61, and they're getting a higher payment amount because our assumption is if you hadn't stopped working here, this is where you potentially could have reached. So you end up getting a higher payment amount. You have to have 5 out of the last 2 years, specific work requirement for that. Younger workers is a lesser requirement. And again, we get younger kids who are who join the service and they're in there, they may go, into some sort of conflict and then, come back and have issues and they're young. So the work requirement is less for them. Okay. And again, same thing. If he or she gets disabled, then children qualify and spouses will qualify as well. Now, applying online disability benefits, this is the fastest way which to contact us and to get to start the process. Again, because our offices are closed, we are not, allowing people to come into the field offices. Right now, we don't have any guidance about when offices are going to be open, and I'm sure that's the same for a lot of places right now. But if a person applies for disability benefits online, once you take and submit it, then what happens is it goes automatically to the local field offices. There's a specific internet unit that handles disability claims. It will get reviewed, and then probably within about 2 to 3 days, a person will get a call back to finish up the application. Because this one right here is specific, going to ask you, going to ask the person, give us the specific of your disability. And as a heads up, if you're working with somebody who wants to apply for disability benefits, what he or she should be giving us is giving us, what's your condition? How does it keep you from working? Are you taking any medications? What are the specific medications that you're taking? What's been your work history for the last 15 years? Which hospitals, doctors, clinics, psychiatrists, psychologists have you been seen? What are their addresses? What are their phone numbers? Give us some approximate dates to when you had received, the treatment or the service. This is going to go a long way because what's going to happen is in the field offices, we do not make the medical decision. We end up, taking the information, and then this is called the medical part of it. We also do what's called the non-medical, which would ask you questions like, where do you live? Do you have any kids? Do you have a spouse? Where did you work? And to find out whether you have your number of work credits that you're supposed to have. What we end up doing then is the disability portion of this case goes up to what's called our disability determination service in Hartford. They have a team of medical examiners that will look at all the medical records, and they'll be the ones that would make that decision. And it doesn't come from us, and it takes a little bit. So the more prepared information that you have, then the better off that you would be, or your client would be. I want to talk about Medicare eligibility at the time. Medicare eligibility happens in these four facets. If somebody happens to have kidney failure or dialysis, qualify for the Medicare program. Somebody has ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. If you've been getting disability benefits from us for 24 months, then you can qualify for the Medicare program. And then we also have an 85, which is the more uh, uh, common eligibility factor, if you will. Medicare has an enrollment period. It's very critical. Somebody who is not getting benefits, the person is still working and getting close to 65. They should contact us a few months ahead of time before 65. Signing up for Medicare before 65 will behoove you so that you avoid getting a penalty at a later point in time because you didn't sign up when you were supposed to. Some of the exceptions will be if you're working, you're covered under your health insurance. You're covered under your spouse's group health insurance and your spouse is active work, then you can basically sign up for the Medicare Part A and you do not necessarily have to take the Medicare Part B. If you take a look on the list where it says general enrollment period, this is the one thing that you want to avoid at all costs. If for some reason you don't sign up when you're supposed to, and you happen to fall within the general enrollment period, what this means is now you can only sign up for the Medicare Part B between January the 1st and March 31st. Then the Part B does not become effective until the month of July, and then you end up paying a penalty that will follow you the rest of your days because you didn't sign up when you were supposed to. This is a big inconvenience. And I know sometimes vets will have VA coverage, TRICARE for life. A lot of times they may be informed to still contact, Medicare just to make sure that they're on the same page. And I think that they still make a person sign up with Medicare. Right. Medicare's got four parts. There's a Part A, Part B. Part A is a hospital insurance. Like a lot of insurance, they have a deductible that covers most inpatient hospital expenses, and then we have the Medicare Part B, which covers doctor service. If you're getting a monthly check from us, there's a premium that's being pulled out of your check, and its premium right now is $160. We will not find out till maybe mid to late November, whether or not that premium is going to take a jump in 2021, and that'll be the same as whether or not we're going to have a cost of living adjustment as well. Medicare Part C, Part D, Medicare Advantage plans. These are these outside insurances like Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Travelers. We don't get involved. We don't endorse any specific plan because Medicare doesn't cover everything. But these are plans that are offered. Something can be expensive. You kind of have to shop around to see what may be the best for you. And then the Medicare prescription drug coverage, we don't really get involved with that as well. A lot of times, if your employer has a prescription drug plan that's better than or equal to what we had, then you don't. A couple more things that I wanted to cover. Our job is to sign people up for Medicare, and we take your money. Once you're in the Medicare system, if you have maybe like an issue with what's being covered or not covered, again, then it would be Medicare.gov that would handle that side of the fence. Again, and this is the 800 number for Medicare, Medicare.gov. Website is very good. This is what the Medicare card looks like nowadays. We have eliminated putting the Social Security number on there for fraud. And so it will give you the Medicare beneficiary identifier number, an MBI number, and it's going to tell you when the Part B will be effective. Okay. And just talking about fraud very quickly, some of you may or may sometimes that they end up getting these calls from somebody saying that your number is going to be suspended. Um, we're going to terminate your benefits. There's a warrant for you if you don't provide information. It's a total scam calls and bogus calls. And we tell a person, just hang up. We legitimately have, uh, uh, if you have business with us, then you could always call our toll-free number, and then what we could end up doing is we can put you in touch with the right person so that it's something that's legit. Okay. We do have social media. We have Twitter. We have Facebook. We have YouTube videos. You can sign up to get emails that will have texting messages saying, "Hey, this is new Social Security. This is coming down the pipe. This is what the new cost of living month is going to be." So again, this is something that can maybe kind of get you in a letter and a heads up this on record. Fraud does happen. We do have a hotline at our Office of Investigator General that, again, we tell a person, don't give your information. I've seen a couple of people get burned, and you may have seen it also on, national news. We always tell a person, be careful, look out for your parents and someone else for these calls, because someone's always going to be trying to be a huckster and get information. Just again, direct deposit information about marriages, divorce. If you've been in the military, your DD-214s can potentially give a person extra credit. If you've been railroad, you know about that as well. Again, online services that we have. You can apply for retirement, disability, Medicare. You can get that statement. You can look at the retirement estimate. We have the retirement survivors and disability planner. Again, this is going to be key information that will help yourself, help a family member, help a vet. And when we were on the ground at the campus in Rocky Hill, we were taking claims. Some people had no idea they were going to be getting, they could possibly get some benefits. But we definitely put a big smile on their face when they walked away. And this is kind of what the website looks like right now. And it's maybe just different, but each specific link will have everything is. I think so. The last couple of things I wanted to mention before I take some questions. Online right now is going to be the principal thing, but we also have phone service. You can call this number, the toll-free number. It's open Monday through Friday from 7 in the morning to 7 at night. Call us up. We can plug you into the local field office. To get a local field office number, you can also contact 911. I'm sorry, not 911. 211. And or if you go into our website at socialsecurity.gov, we have a field office locator. You put in the zip code, and it will tell you the specific field office that it handles. All right, so if you can bear with me just another. Okay. All right. All right, so I'm back with you. Scratch out of this for a second. Okay. Are there questions? I know I've talked a lot, so I've covered a lot of topics, and I'm very open to questions.
Is the Social Security disability taxed federally and state?
All right, good question. On the state side, no. With when you get benefits from us at the end of the year, well, going into January and February, we give you what's called the 1099 form that says how much you got from Social Security. And because it's Social Security income, be it retirement or survivors or disability, IRS looks at a person's overall income. So taxation may or may not come into play. The taxation amount is, I think it's between 25 to 30,000 or something like that. You can get taxed either 50% or 85% of your Social Security. But you will find it on our website when it comes to taxation, what the specific amounts are. We don't deal with state tax. And the day would have been a nice day for us to be up on a campus and giving out materials and answering questions. And I know we definitely missed it as an entire team. Is there more questions? Don, do we have a question? Good.
There is someone raising their hand on their little
Yeah.
button on the bottom.
That's what I'm looking at, right?
It's Jay Sanchez is how they're logged in.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, put it down.
Okay.
He left.
I really appreciate it being on the call. Again, if at any point in time, if you can touch base with, with the Social Security Administration, if you go to our website, you can have publications, hard copy publications sent to you. You can ask to have information, but if you can't, try to get the Social Security statement, the My Social Security account set up, and just pass the word that we're looking to submit. The only thing is that it's going to be via phone service and online service. Sounds like we're all set.
Nothing in chat and nobody raising their hand.
Okay. All right, so great. Listen, I want to.
Just a question.
Yes, please.
If you have a 90% rating through the VA, can you still go ahead and apply for the disability?
Yes, you can. And what will happen is that we would look at the medical treatment source from the VA, what their rating is, and it'll be taken into consideration. But it doesn't necessarily mean that would be an automatic qualifier, but it would be a big help to have that information. So then this way we can it can be included and used to evaluate if you meet the requirements. Well, I want to thank everyone for being on the call. Dawn, thank you for being the the moderator. Again, visit our website at socialsecurity.gov. Get information straight from us. Pass the word to everyone else. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.
All right, thank you so much for presenting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Dawn, thanks again.
No problem. Have a great day.
Likewise. Bye.